Yeah, so the final part of this then, guys, will be the calculation of your profile heights and and recording that on a data sheet. Okay. Now, profile heights are different for everyone and they can be complicated. Okay. So basically, in order to calculate your profile heights, you need to plot it on your invert level of your pipe, and I've calculated that from your individual calculations. So this example here, the invert level down here at the septic tank, 65.005, and the calculated gradient has been added here, 65.863 at this one. Okay, and the easiest way to describe the calculation of profile heights is it's trial and error, but basically we want to offset this pipe gradient to above the ground level to enable us to set it out. And there's a couple of important factors within this here. Basically, for human comfort, we want the profile height to be between 0.5 meters and 2 meters. Okay, so that's rule number one. The profile height should be between 0.5 meters and 2 meters, depending on who is going to be setting this out. An example being, I've worked with a very, very tall fella who wanted his slightly higher. Okay, so two meters was suitable for him, whereas I prefer mine to be 1.5 meters to bend down, or 1 meter is preferable. It's easier to bend down than to jump up and how to use these things. So the other factor would be your traveler height, which is mobile along this route, should be in multiples of 0.5 meters. I'm going to show you an example here of how we're going to calculate this on a vertical scale of 1 to 50. And I'm going to show you, we'll start with a 3 meter traveler height. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to try a 3 meter. Okay. And what that basically means is that we offset from our invert level up 3 meters. Okay. Now, we are using a vertical scale of 1 to 50. Okay. So we basically need to offset that up by 1 to 50, and the quickest way to do that is 3 meters times 2. So we're exaggerating the scale by 50, okay, in this scale drawn. So 3 meters times 2 would be 6 meters, but obviously we're drawn in millimeters here. So I'm going to draw up here 6,000, okay, 6,000 millimeters from here comes to there. We'll do the same at the other end, 6,000. Yeah. And what we want to do then is measure the distance that protrudes from the ground. Our distance here that we're protruding up is 476. Okay, so 476 divided by 2. So that's only 238 mil on our scale. So that's nearly ground level. So that doesn't meet our 0.5 to 2 meters. And over here, if we check the distance, 64. So it's only 32 mil above ground level. Okay. So as I say, it's trial and error, and that one hasn't worked for us. So now we need to go in here and change our traveler height to the next multiple of 500 mil, 3.5 meters. Okay. So again, we'll draw 3,500 times 2 is 7,000 at this side. $7,000 at this side. And again, we'll check our dimensions. So we're getting 1476 here. So if we divide that by 2, that gives us 738 mil above ground level. So it's above the 0.5 threshold and within 2 meter threshold. That one's okay. And again, we check the distance here, 1064, which is just 532 mil. So it just about meets that threshold. Okay. As I say, it's better to have to bend down to use these than to jump up. So how I show that in the CAD drawing. So basically your two profile heights, they're basically posts that are fixed to the ground. So we bring them up to the ground level. And we also show a line that represents that are your profile heights. So I'll turn it off. Show these as so. Okay. And then basically we draw on the traveler of 3.5 meters anywhere along this route from this for example, if I come to here and draw up it on 7,000, which is your 3.5 meter length, but multiplied by the scale factor, 7,000. And again, we basically turn our F8 off. We show that there. And then if I go to my layer 0, for example, and draw a line, central points of this right through, it should intercept the traveler. Now, sadly, I haven't done this correctly. So if I move that from where I started to the invert level, that line should intercept that. Okay. So that's part of this done. So that's it drawn on. It shows our mobile traveler anywhere along that route. And our ground level isn't intersecting that there. Otherwise, we'd have to offset that to a multiple of 0.5 to 4 meters and check your rules. But what this means now is we need to complete this on the sheet. Okay. And there's a couple of ways we can do this here. Okay. So what we can do is we can measure our distance from your datum line to the top of the profile height. And we are getting 17.010. 17.010 divided by 2 is 8505. So we add 60 plus 8505. Sorry, 68.505 meters. Okay, so it's basically your invert level plus 3.5. Okay, and the same with this here, but just as a check on your drawing, we will measure it. So from your datum line, which is 60, to your profile height, we're getting 18,726 divided by 2 for your scale is 9363. Which should be your invert level plus 3.5 meters. Okay. Now, what we need to do is document those onto your booking sheet to enable you to set those levels. Okay. So we'll take our invert levels of 65.005 and 65.863 and transfer them to a booking sheet. 65.005, 65.863, and then your calculated 68.505 and 69.363. I'll give you a check on that. Yep. So we input that in there onto a booking sheet, and we then need to calculate the levels that we take for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your reduced level, your backside, and your HBC from the original booking sheet, which am I right in saying that was the 25th of February we did that survey? 4th of, what date did we do that? 4th of February. So if you go back to your booking sheet from the 4th of February, thank you. So basically copy the top line of those details in. And basically you will have the HPC of 70.882 in this example. And then we deduct 65.005. So 70.882 deduct 65.005. And that will give us our 5.877. And that gives us our staff reading. If we were to set out the invert level, and 5.863 deducted is 5.019. Now, our staffs are only 5 meters long, so that's why this is generally an issue. Basically, this is why we use the profile heights. So if we then move to 70.882 minus 68.505, that gives us 3.382, and 70.882 minus 69.363 is 1.519. And finally, we'll assume that your backside will remain the same in order to close off your survey. And that gives us your final booking sheet for that then. So as I said, guys, the whole purpose of this here is we physically can't set out using this HPC because our staff is limited to 5 meters, so we can't set either of those two out. So this is how we would control the excavation using 2 profile heights and a 3.5 meter traveler. So hopefully you are able to follow the video to correct your long section and do your own corrections to your booking sheet then. So thank you.